Hi everyone, good afternoon. Today we will do previous year questions. Okay? हाँ हाँ उसके आगे अब आएंगे. ये है उसके आगे कंटिन्यू हो रहा है. ठीक है. So what we will do is first I'll quickly make you go through revision of whatever we have done in the past 5 days. ठीक है. 4 दिन का रिवाइज करेंगे हम. Okay, through one single page. Now this one single page is very important for many reasons. First reason is that whatever we have read in the past 4 days was for our understanding, not for exam. Okay. But what we will do today is for exam, not just for understanding. Okay, and both things are important. Okay. So what we will do today is quickly we will revise Unit 1 Part A. Okay. So this is what we have done in the past 4 days. Modernity and origin of sociology summarized. So first thing that we did was intellectual forces we talked about. Okay. If someone asks you the meaning of intellectual force, the meaning of intellectual force is any force which is responsible for change in ideas. Okay, ideas of governance change, ideas of literature change, ideas of architecture change, change in ideas. Okay, so what were those intellectual forces? As I told you in the last 4-5 days: Renaissance, scientific revolution, Enlightenment, French Revolution, Industrial Revolution. Okay, what eventually happened with these intellectual forces? Advent of modernity. And when we talk about modernity, we talk about these things. With Renaissance, we got humanism and secularism, part of modernity. With scientific revolution, we got science itself, empiricism, logic, experimentation, laws, etc. With Enlightenment and French Revolution, I have clubbed both of them together क्योंकि almost similar ही इनका हिसाब किताब. And with Enlightenment and French Revolution, we got democracy, feminism, Mary Wollstonecraft. Okay, free market economy, laissez-faire, Adam Smith. Nation state, the idea of nationalism. Okay, individualism, John Locke, Hobbes. Okay, the idea of democracy is something that we got with John Locke's and Thomas Hobbes and Rousseau's idea of. कोई difference नहीं, भूल जाओ उनको. वो अच्छे से तो आगे आएगा, अभी तो सिर्फ इंट्रोडक्शन है. अभी के लिए क्या समझना है हमने? फॉर द टाइमिंग, like someone who is studying for GS1, we will understand that much at least for the time being, and unless we start explaining feminism in the great details. So for the time being, we will understand feminism is about gender equality. Okay, not just about women. Remember this. Feminism also includes lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, which is called as queer feminism because these people are called as queer. Okay. So just इतना ही समझना है अभी के लिए. जब तक हम फेमिनिज्म की डेप्थ में नहीं जाएंगे, वो आगे जाके आएगा, बहुत जाके. ठीक है. ह्यूमनिज्म मतलब ह्यूमन इज एट द सेंटर ऑफ एवरीथिंग. ओके, you make a law not for the god, you make law for the betterment of people. Okay, you make painting not for god, for people. The painting should portray people, their everyday life. Music should portray people, their everyday life, happiness, sadness. So this is what humanism is. Individualism is, no, I'll do whatever I like. I'll marry someone of my choice. Does not matter which caste he or she belongs to, which religion he or she belongs to, which nation he or she belongs to, which sex he or she or it has. Okay, I'll do whatever I like. This is individualism. Okay, समझ गए? Industrial Revolution. Contribution in terms of what we call as modernity is mass production, urbanization, bureaucracy. Okay, Now, remember, although I have written, you know, these things parallel to these events, but to be very honest, there is no such watertight demarcation. I mean, you can easily find elements of this here also, elements of these here also. I mean, but life simple करने के लिए, exam के लिए मैंने ऐसे कर दिया आपका. If you have to really memorize, at the end of the day, you can memorize this. Okay. Now, the next thing that we did, which happened on the last day, that was yesterday, was issues with modernity. तो इसको भी मैंने parallelly डाल दिया है. Okay, with humanism, secularism, this philosophy, this idea of the so-called modern idea of humanism, secularism came at a cost. Anarchy and social disorder. Why anarchy? Anarchy means lawlessness. Okay, when God is questioned, when king is questioned, and we do not know who is going to rule, and we do not yet have any governance set up, okay, do not have any concrete form of democracy or republic so-called. So until that time, we are going to go through anarchy, right? So imagine like this. Our constitution came in which year? 1950. We got independence in? For the 3 years, we were governed by which law? ये प्रीलिम्स का क्वेश्चन हो सकता है ना? ऐसी चीजें पूछता है यूपीएससी कि भाई ये तो हमको वहां जाके लगेगा कि यार साल कैसे नहीं. ये तुम्हारा होमवर्क क्वेश्चन है, इसको करो जीएस के लिए. फॉर द 3 years वी वर गवर्न्ड बाय विच लॉ. ठीक है, चलो. एनी हाउ, साइंटिफिक रेवोल्यूशन, वी गॉट साइंस, एम्पिरिसिज्म, लॉजिक. This came at a cost of loss of faith, religion, loss of tradition. We no longer are bound by traditions, norms, all those things. Okay, we run by logic now. Okay. So there is nothing magical about rainbow. There is nothing magical about sunrise. Everything can be explained by laws. Refraction of light, reflection of light. Rainbow can be explained by total internal reflection of. So this is how we speak in a scientific fashion. So some would, wow, so magical. अरे कुछ magical नहीं है, total internal reflection है. इतने लॉजिकल हो गए तुम बेटा. ब्यूटी से कोई मतलब नहीं लाइफ के अंदर, तुम्हें नहीं कोई मतलब नहीं. इतने लॉजिकल हम हो चुके हैं. ठीक है. So this is what the issue of modernity is, कि we have lost that individual in us who appreciate things without quantifying them, okay, for the sake of just appreciating them. So somehow we have become some other kind of human. This is a cost which we had to pay with the advent of modernity. Anyhow, so with democracy, feminism, free market economy, nation state, individualism, all these things came at a cost. A reign of terror. Everybody was killed. Okay, king's family, church state discord. Okay, what we call today as secularism. This is what we call as secularism, right? Industrial strikes. People had come to urban centers, but they were not really socially protected. They had no health facility, no housing facility. Industrial strikes. And moreover, they were working for 14, 15, 16 hours. Today we have labor laws which regulate working condition of laborers, for how many hours they can work. Beyond that, it is illegal. Okay, but in those times there was no labor law. Anti-Semitism, high suicide and divorce rates. अच्छा, divorce rates. फिर से बोलो. क्यों हो गई मेंटालिटी डिफरेंट? नहीं, डाइवोर्स लड़के लड़की के बीच में हुआ.
इंडस्ट्री की वजह से डिसलोकेशन होगा, क्योंकि वो कहता है वहां पे काम करने जाए.
See, just think like this. I get Rajasthan cadre. Someone else gets some other cadre. बहुत दूरी है. ठीक है. We hardly ever meet in our lives. Randomly बता रहा हूँ यार मैं तो. ठीक है. We hardly ever meet in our lives. तो divorce होना है. Okay. For marriage to be successful, it is very important for both the partners to stay together and not meet one defined day. ऐसा मीटिंग्स नहीं होती है पार्टनर्स में, मीटिंग्स तो बिजनेसमैन में होती है. ओके, so let us not have weekend family, a family which looks family during Saturday Sunday. It should be a whole life wala family. Okay, so divorce rate. Now Mary Wollstonecraft was a proponent of equal property rights as well for women. She is one of the first one to talk about property rights. Okay, and when property is going to be divided between men and women, it will definitely create some problems, eventually leading to high divorce rates. And high divorce rate means moral fabric is getting weakened. Okay, anyhow, so these are the costs all of us had to pay with modernity. Okay, so like for example, one of my friend, he is in Uttarakhand right now in this service IRS. Okay, दिया था क्या एग्जाम्पल? हाँ ठीक है. सो उसकी अभी तक शादी नहीं हुई है. This man has not yet gotten married. He is, I think he is 31, 32. He has not yet gotten married and he is well settled in his life. Okay, but the kind of girl that he is looking for, okay, and the kind of society that we are in today, there is huge gap between his ideal girl and the kind of people we have today, the kind of women we have today. Okay, because women are no different from men today. They are as ambitious and as potential as men. So they are not ready to sacrifice their lives for someone's parents or something like this. Okay, this is how they have started thinking. So this is also one of the reasons why even if we get married today, very high chance that next year the marriage may not really survive. Okay, I'm not saying that you should not get married. Of course everyone should get married, but मैं सिर्फ एक एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ सिर्फ समझाने के लिए, और ऐसा कुछ नहीं है मेरा लाइफ में. Okay, degradation of work, this is one cost. So we are producing in mass, but who are the producers who are producing in mass? Whatever they are producing, they do not really feel they are owner of that production. Okay, I am producing one part, second man is producing in China, he is producing second part. In Brazil, someone is producing third part, what we call as global assembly chain. Okay, finally the final product has landed in Russia. Okay, who owns that product? So basically this is what the kind of thing is, that you do not really feel ownership of this thing that you are making. Okay, you have become part, a cog in the machine. A cog in the machine means nut in the larger machine. Okay, so work quality has degraded, wealth is getting concentrated. So every year you would see Oxfam report talking about 1% holding 80% wealth, 20% holding something, this was wealth. So these were the costs, and against all these issues we saw the rise of Counter-Enlightenment. Okay, under which we see many people. I have clubbed those people into two categories. One were conservatives, second were radical. Okay, conservatives were largely concerned with these issues. Okay, Marx was largely concerned with this issue. Although Marx has also spoken at great length on French Revolution, but for our exam, because we are not researchers, for our exam we should only understand this much, that he is mainly concerned with Industrial Revolution. And conservatives are mainly concerned with French Revolution. Why? Because conservatives were Frenchmen. तो लाइफ सिंपल रखेंगे, ठीक है. So this was all about it. Now only one last thing was left which I wanted to discuss. हाँ बोलो. रिप्लेस किया, बिल्कुल किया है, ठीक है. हाँ, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में भी हमारा पूरा जो भी है इक्वालिटी, उसमें रिलीजन का कोई लेना देना नहीं है, बिल्कुल. लेकिन बस वो है कि रियलिटी में कितना होता है वो अलग चीज है. लॉ आज की डेट में रिलीजियस नहीं है. एक्शन भले ही रिलीजियस हो लोगों के, स्टेट में भी सेकुलर, बट पीपल आर स्टिल वेरी मच रिलीजियस. ओके, so secularism is a philosophy which is applicable to state. Individuals are never secular. If some हो ही नहीं सकता. और वो ये जो एप्लीकेशन है, ये सेंटेंस ही गलत है एक्चुअली, ठीक है. सपोज यू रोम अराउंड इन सीपी, सम इंटरव्यूअर कम्स टू यू एंड आस्क यू आर यू सेकुलर, so you can simply tell him your question is wrong. Secularism is a philosophy which is applicable to state. Individuals are not secular. Okay, बस बात इतना सही है, ठीक है. So anyhow, अब एक लास्ट चीज जो मैं बताना चाहता हूं, द लास्ट थिंग विच आई वॉन्ट टू टेल यू बिफोर आई एक्सप्लेन दिस छोटा सा सेक्शन, वन लास्ट थिंग विच आई वॉन्ट टू एक्सप्लेन इज दैट when we saw these many issues with modernity, we saw rise of counter-enlightenment, conservatives and radicals. Now these conservatives and radicals, okay, now this man is Marx, okay, this is Emil Durkheim, center में. This man is Max Weber. We have 6 scholars in our unit 1. Why did I talk about only 3? Because these 3 are European. The rest 3 are American. They are not concerned with, European revolutions, although those revolutions had impact on American Revolution also. But these 3 are those main scholars who are, reacting to French and Industrial Revolution. So these 3 people are now going to say that, see, all of you have seen the issues with modernity. Now we will explain you all those issues of modernity in a scientific fashion. In unit 4 we will explain you. See you guys soon, ऐसे करके लिखा है इसमें, ठीक है. तो ये जो डरखाइम है, he will explain suicide in scientific fashion. Okay, Marx will explain these things in a scientific fashion. Okay, Durkheim will also explain divorce rates in a scientific fashion. Okay, and all those things will be explained by these people. Anarchy, social disorder would be explained by Durkheim. Okay, loss of faith and religion would be explained by Max Weber. समझ गए? So ये चार्ट अगर आपके पास है, you will not forget anything. Okay, yeah.
What about the other thinkers and scholars which we have written?
कौन से भूल जाओ सबको. अच्छा, वो see, those scholars, as I told you, few things I will explain to make you things understandable. Okay, those things may not be necessarily taught to you only for exam, but I'll let you know what is most important for exam, what not. UPSC would never ask you about Thomas Hobbes or John Locke. Okay, they will definitely ask you enlightenment. When you are writing about enlightenment, these names may come handy. Okay, but to what extent do you have to write about these people is something that I will talk about today. We will get to know how much do we really need to write about those people and how much do we need to focus on the main demand. Proportion of the, importance. I will talk about those things also today, which is very important thing. So the last thing which I wanted to discuss before I wrap it up and move to PYQ session is this. Now, what are these things? These are also intellectual forces, and some scholars also call them precursors. What is precursors? Yes, right. Precursor is something that is there before this. So what was there before sociology? Okay, which was explaining these things. It is not that if sociology was not there, nobody was explaining these issues, and we required sociologists to understand these things. Okay, so what were the kind of disciplines that were running to explain these things? So first was philosophy of history. There was a discipline called as philosophy of history. Okay, philosophy of history simply philosophize the movement of history. So history moves in a linear fashion from simple to complex form. This is what philosophizing history means. So what they tried to explain was that we were living in medieval era. Okay, life was very simple. Okay, there was no individual right, only structures were dominating. Structure dominating means priestly class, church, individual did not exist. Individual right, something like this never existed. Okay, patriarchy existed, state system existed, Catholicism existed. Okay, these things existed. But as history evolves, you would see dilution of these structures getting weakened, and these are weakened and individualism are getting stronger. And this thing is making history very complex in nature. Evolution of history is getting very complex in nature. This is what philosopher is. So he is not giving any concrete detail. He is just talking some abstract categories which you can relate with, but you do not have any concrete information about. Understanding my point? This is what philosophy of history is. Okay. So, like for example, if I say history until French Revolution was all about kings and queens. Am I right? Right. No, history in the sense academic textbook. In textbook we read about kings and queens only. Okay. We don't read about what Rajesh was doing. Okay. So history was all about kings and queens. As we move along, as we progress, history is also taking into consideration role of masses. So we talk about mass movement, nationalist movement. It's not just about kings and queens, it's about struggle against kings and queens. So, history is, this is what philosophizing history is, nothing is. Okay, so don't take it very seriously. You just have to write this as precursor to sociology. Precursor means something which existed before sociology, trying to explain the same things in a different fashion. Okay. Biological theory of evolution. What is biological theory of evolution? Huh? Yes. Right. And who gave this theory? Okay. So Darwin gave us biological theory of evolution. Okay. Then this theory was applied to human beings and society by Herbert Spencer. Okay. Herbert Spencer is like follower of Darwin only. Okay. Survival of fittest, a phrase coined by Spencer, not Darwin. Remember this. Okay. So Herbert Spencer is talking about evolution of society. Darwin talked about evolution of species. Okay. So Spencer is simply applying that theory to explain this evolution. Okay. He simply said earlier societies were very simple in nature. Simple division of labor. simple sexual division of labor. There was no such issue. Man was going out in the farms, women was plucking the flower, picking the seeds, winnowing the harvest, something like this. There was no chaos, no property right, something like this, no conflict. Society was very simple. As we moved on, society became complex. Everyone has property rights, individual rights, authority and challenge posed before authority. All those things are coming up now. Okay, so our society is not simple, it is getting complex in nature. Think like this: a species, caterpillar, evolution of caterpillar from its initial stage to butterfly wala stage, it becomes completely different from what it was. बटरफ्लाई को देख के नहीं लगता वो ऐसा था कभी. ओके, ऐसा ही आज की सोसाइटी को देख के आपको नहीं लगेगा कि कभी ऐसी सोसाइटी थी हमारी. So this is how he is trying to explain biological theory of evolution. Now, in biological theory of evolution, one word or one concept is very important, which I want to talk about. छोटा सा. Herbert Spencer. Herbert Spencer has given a concept, organic analogy. Okay, organic analogy. Who is Herbert Spencer? The man who is trying to apply biological theory of evolution to human societies, to explain evolution of human societies. Okay, this man has developed the concept organic analogy. Now, what is the meaning of organic analogy? What is the meaning of analogy? Analogy means analogy, comparison. Okay, वो anatomy है. Organic analogy means comparing human society with human body. Okay, comparing human society with human body. Now, body and society. Body consists of multiple parts. Society also consists of multiple parts. Now, I'll talk about those parts very briefly just to give you an idea. Otherwise, this is not so important. Okay, ये भी मैं साथ साथ बताते रहूँगा क्या important है क्या नहीं. ठीक है. Organic analogy is all about body consisting of parts like heart, liver, kidney, okay, hands, etc. All these parts are performing some function. Similarly, society consists of economy, religion, laws, state, caste छोड़ दो उसको. All these, that is also fine, but अभी उसको रहने देते हैं. All these institutions are also performing some functions. When all these human body organs are performing their functions perfectly, human body will survive. When society's parts will function perfectly, society will survive. Suppose economy collapsed. One part of the body collapsed. Heart collapsed, body gone. Economy collapsed, society gone. यही होता है ना. Okay. Unless कुछ और measure लिए जाएं economy को बचाने के लिए, something like this. Okay. This is what we call as organic analogy. And this was used by Herbert Spencer to explain the evolution of society from medieval age to this modern age. Okay, society is evolving just like human body evolves from infant stage to adult stage. Okay, last is surveys of social condition. What was surveys of social condition? There was a point of time when poverty was explained as gift of God or curse of God, something like this. Okay. So you are fortunate that you are born poor. God wants to test your life now. If you fail this test now, in the next life, you will not be born as human being. So if you are poor, stay poor. Don't complain about it. Okay. So he used to think, oh, so this is a blessing in disguise. Okay, so I'll not resist anything. Okay, I'll stay poor. I'm happy with poverty. Okay. So this is how we used to explain poverty initially. But today, what do? We conduct surveys. Pan-India surveys. Urban, rural. This is how we divide India. We classify people into BPL, APL, okay, PL, L, P, A, B, C, जो भी चलता है, ठीक है. We classify people, okay, classification of people, and then we see what is their basket of consumption. So we put some goods and services in their basket. We calculate how much they consume. So we are doing it scientifically, logically, okay, and then we finally come up with, so India's poverty line would be around 32 rupees out of the calculation. So much scientific and so logical and so mechanical and graphical type things we are talking about poverty. Okay, earlier it was sin, curse, blessing, so philosophical, abstract. So this has been possible only because of survey. So survey is embodiment. Any survey is an embodiment of scientific expression. Okay, logic. Okay, survey is an embodiment of logic. If you want to be successful in your life, suppose you set up a business, startup. You cannot be successful with your startup if you had not conducted any survey. You cannot randomly do anything. You need to see the demand of people, the issues. Okay, so survey helps us in those manners. And therefore, it becomes precursor of sociology, because sociology is also, when I will teach you, Unit 4, you will come to know everything explained in scientific fashion with data, with graphs, all those things. Okay. So these are precursors to sociology. Okay. So ultimately, we will remember only one line. Sociology developed to explain the issues associated with modernity. And therefore, sociology is the child of modernity. खत्म. नहीं लिखने की कोई बात ही नहीं है. ये नोट्स में दे दिया है. प्रीकर्सर नोट्स में है, कुछ नहीं लिखना, नोट्स में दे रखा है मैंने. ठीक है. सो अब आगे बढ़ते हैं. नाउ लेट अस डू previous year questions. Okay, if you have any questions so far, you can ask me before we start with previous year question. देख लो भाई, फिर नहीं ये बाद में नहीं कि यार ये तो दिक्कत हो गई है. टेस्ट होएगा भाई. देखो टेस्ट, you don't need to be scared with test. Okay, this is not a test. This is not a test. Okay, you have to write freely. In exam setting, you don't write freely. Okay, you write your own expression the way you write. I know many of you might not have written anything before in their lives. Okay, except in their exams, in their B.Tech days or BA or BCom, BCA. Okay, but today you write for your own sake. Okay, and I will not tell you initially this should be the heading, this should be the this and that. Write freely whatever comes to mind, and after few minutes I will stop the clock. Okay, although I am allowing you to write freely, but this does not mean that you take 2 hours. Okay. So I will, हाँ तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं, तो ऐसी होती है ना शुरुआत. तो ना ऐसे नहीं, सोचने में 8 मिनट ले रहे हो, फिर गड़बड़ है, फिर च्यवनप्राश खाओ फिर. हाँ कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. अभी देख लेते हैं कितना टाइम लगता है तुमको. 8 मिनट लगता है कि उससे कम. कहीं उससे ज्यादा ना लग जाए बस. So I am giving you one question. Question is simple, easy or difficult is something that I am not going to tell you. I am just going to give you one question and I will start countdown. Okay. Question is very simple. How did enlightenment, ऑनलाइन वालों से पूछ लो. हाँ भाई, है वही है. How did enlightenment contribute to the emergence of sociology? बताओ, इससे सिंपल कुछ हो सकता है क्या? How did enlightenment contribute to the emergence of sociology? Okay. And I will not tell you how many marks this question carries. These things are irrelevant, at least for the time being. Okay. Since I wanted to write freely, I will give you ये देखो यार, ये भी बड़ी दिक्कत है. इसको, इस वाले को यूज नहीं किया ना कभी मैंने. चलो, I'll give you 12 minutes. Okay. स्टार्ट हो गया. Write freely whatever comes to your mind and I won't say anything right now. Okay, अब मैं निकलता हूँ, आता हूँ थोड़ी देर में. Online guys, this is the question, try it and then we'll solve it. Online students can submit their answers to this email ID whenever you see this video. Okay. Some of you may see this tomorrow, some of you may see it after 1 year. Okay. You can, हाँ, और ऑनलाइन में सब होता है. You can submit your answers to this email ID. Good afternoon, Shibu. Good afternoon, Abhinash. Krishna. Definitely Krishna I will do. Good afternoon, Amit. Krishna. Sir, we have discussed about logic, reason, knowledge. We have started only during, but there was also Aristotle, Plato who spoke on them quite before. Yes. Yes, Krishna. And Aristotle and Plato are those people whose literature is responsible for the birth of Renaissance, from which Enlightenment came. So ultimately, Enlightenment is the final product. Okay, this is what I explained in my first lecture. Shashank, is counter-enlightenment equal to issue with modernity? Yes, you can say like this, Shashank. Shubham, great explanation, sir. Thank you, Shubham. Please continue series. No, this is not YouTube series, Shubham. This is, I think in YouTube, this is, हाँ ये please come. हाँ कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं, आजो. So, Shubham, this is not a YouTube series. This is, I think, the last day of YouTube session. So from tomorrow, there is no YouTube lecture. So my attempt was to promote offline class more. That is why I had to reach you guys online. Okay, I had no other alternative. रिया, नोट्स कहाँ से मिलेंगे? रिया, ये नोट्स पोर्टल में अपलोडेड हैं. Shashank. Sir, please explain the philosophy of history again. Definitely Shashank. Ambuj. From where I will get your notes? Ambuj, you will get our notes from Level Up IAS. You can come to the center. In case you are registered, you can come to the center. In case you are not, you can register yourself. Okay. Shibu. Sir, where can we ask doubts when we watch a recorded video? Shibu, you can ask your doubts. When you watch recorded video, there is no other channel available through which you can ask your what you can do is you can drop your doubts in YouTube comment box. Okay, I'll ensure that your doubt is addressed. Whenever I see your comment, I will address your doubt. Okay, this much at least we can do. Okay, Ria, center, where is the center? You can simply Google Level Up IAS. You will get to know where is the center. So time is over for all offline students and online students as well. Okay, online students can submit their answers as I told you to this email ID nishat7n NISHAT, not N, निशांत नहीं है, ना ही निशात द है, डी नहीं है, टी है, nishat7n@gmail.com. Okay, now I will go through your answers one by one. Okay, please. I'll quickly go through your answer. It is like a scan. Okay, so I'll give 10 to 20 seconds to one copy. I'll get to know the issues and collectively I'll address all those issues here. Okay. So from tomorrow I'll also get a red pen. Do you have red pen? नहीं, काटा नहीं है भाई, काटा नहीं है मैंने, वैसा लगा होगा तुमको. Yes. Okay, so basically, just to ensure that online students do not feel alienated, what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to evaluate or scan, I would say, not evaluate properly. I'm just scanning or going through or skimming through some of the copies which are written by offline students here. And since this is the first time all of them are writing, what I'm doing is that I'm not going into the details of their sentence or statements. I'm simply looking at the structure. Okay, whether they are following appropriate structure or not. Fine. Incomplete है पर. Yes, you can. No need to explain everything. Just directly start with, I'll explain what should be the right beginning. See, writing an answer is also very, specific kind of art. We learn so many things when we read books and when we read notes. But then the question comes, how do we put it all in as simple form, in as concrete form, and in as visible form as possible? That is a challenge, and this is a challenge that students gradually evolve with and adapt with and finally meet it. Okay, so even if in the beginning you do not feel comfortable, no need to worry. This is how we evolve. Okay. Okay. Hmm. One page, no? Yes. गुड. बिगिनिंग अच्छा है. बस थोड़ा वो है कि कंक्रीट ज़्यादा नहीं है. बस इतना ही लिखा है 12 मिनट में. चलो मैं बाकी एक्सप्लेन करूँगा. ठीक है. और किसका है? दिखाओ. Society. देखो ये ध्यान रखना है. Our beginning should be with this concept. And why I say this? Because if I look at the question for the first time in my life without having any knowledge of sociology, the first question that would occur to me is, what is enlightenment? I know what is how, I know what is did. What is enlightenment? So I'm not a sociology student. I'm just an inquisitive person. Okay. So since I do not know what is enlightenment, examiner also wants us to write in that manner only. Start with the beginning. Define enlightenment. No need to explain any story, past, medieval age, nothing. Okay. So this is how writing becomes different from learning. Okay. You need to eliminate options or pages when you are writing, just like you do elimination in paper 1 CSAT or paper 2 CSAT, jo bhi. Paper 1 is GS, right? Haan. So same thing you have to do here also. Okay. Before enlightenment, you explained society was full of means which supposed. This is not clear sentence. Okay. Society is also governed by laws, its universes. No need to write individual scholars' contribution. Just simply write down contribution, like free speech. democracy, equal property rights, gender equality, and in bracket just write those scholars. That's it. You don't need to write John Locke said that we should have long sentence. नहीं. John Locke bracket free speech, game over. To the point, मुद्दे की बात जिसे कहते हैं ना, मुद्दे की बात, वो स्ट्रक्चर इज फाइन, कंटेंट थोड़ा भी होएगा धीरे धीरे. Enlightenment is a philosophy. बढ़िया है. अच्छा, before I check someone else's answer now, let me first write the structure. What should have been the structure? I will not write content right now. I will just write what should have been the structure. So structure should have been like this. Whenever you approach a question, follow these basic rules. First rule, rule number 1. Identify keywords. If I look into the question, I can see one keyword here. So I will have highlighter in my hand. Okay, even in the exam hall, I will keep that highlighter for highlighting only keyword, nothing else. I'll write with my basic blue pen only, but I'll somehow keep highlighter to highlight this. Enlightenment. Contribute is not a keyword. Okay. Emergence of sociology is definitely keyword. So enlightenment and emergence of sociology. So I can see only two things in this 3 lines. So I can see cause and I can see effect. I cannot see anything else. Okay. If I know this is cause, so I should start right away with the cause. I should not explain what led to enlightenment. So I should not make enlightenment an effect. I should let it be cause only. Understood? This is rule number 1. Identify keyword. Rule number 2. Identify relation between the keywords, which I just did. Cause effect. Okay. Rule number 3. Directly start. And when I say directly, it literally means directly. Okay. Without any flowery quotation, without sounding like a philosopher, do nothing. Directly start with definition of keyword. Which keyword? Primary keyword. In this question, primary keyword is enlightenment. Everything revolves around enlightenment. Okay. These are the basic 3 rules that we follow every time, and then we make subheadings. Rule number 4. Make subheadings according to demand of question. Okay. So in your answer, I should see subheadings. Because when you read a book without any subheading and with just paragraphs, you will get lost. And you can do this experiment also. When you open a book, you see paragraphs, you get lost. But when you see paragraph with subheadings, life becomes very simple for you and you start liking the book. Just think that the book is your answer and you are examiner. Examiner also needs to like your answer. Okay. Make the subheading. Now here the question is, what could be the subheading? I have directly started with definition of enlightenment. What is the next step that I should follow? Contribution of enlightenment would be my first subheading after definition of enlightenment. Agreed? Agreed. So contribution of enlightenment will be my next subheading. Rule तो क्या बोलूँ? This is not rule, but rule I have already explained. Now I'll talk about the concrete thing.
थोड़ा भी पहले का बताएंगे नहीं, पहले
कुछ नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं. कुछ नहीं. और ये ज्यादा मुश्किल काम है, पता है क्या?
पहले का
अब पहले का बताना आसान है, ये करना ज्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है कि एकदम टू दी पॉइंट लिखना. ओके, यस. And how the contribution created disorder. Okay, and from this disorder came counter-enlightenment, क्योंकि enlightenment also resulted into counter-enlightenment. ठीक है ना? अगर करेंगे शो ऑफ, थोड़ा तो करेंगे यार भाई. सोशियोलॉजी डायरेक्टली तो नहीं आई थी, काउंटर एनलाइटनमेंट से आई ना. और काउंटर एनलाइटनमेंट किसके बाद आया? एनलाइटनमेंट के बाद में. तो लेट अस गो बैक टू दैट चार्ट. whenever you get confused in your life, refer this chart. Question was how enlightenment resulted into sociology. So from enlightenment till sociology, how many things you see? You see modernity, you see issue with modernity, you see counter, then you see sociology. Game खत्म. सही है कि नहीं है? यही करना था बस. ये चार्ट दिया ही इसलिए मैंने, so that you locate everything in objective manner without going into the flow. Okay. Okay, now let me go through your answer. Sir, please check my answer also. हाँ, Anshika, yes I will do. Aishwarya, conclusion is also. Conclusion, you know, at least in the initial days I would not bother a lot about conclusion, to be very honest. Okay, I would rather focus my attention to the main body or content. Okay, conclusion is something that you will eventually develop as you evolve. Okay, okay, enlightenment, you basically are writing contribution. Whose copy was this? हाँ ठीक है, ठीक है. Give birth to friend. हाँ सही है, बिल्कुल ठीक है. You can also make one diagram or write some subheadings. Otherwise, answer is fine. और क्या है इसके दिखाओ. Enlightenment. थोड़ा सा you need to work on writing and writing, because first impression I'm not feeling so interested type wali feeling. I'm thinking from perspective of examiner. Okay, definition is missing. Enlightenment. No need to write Hobbes law of Rousseau. Okay, problems with enlightenment. Okay, fine. Emergence of sociology is missing. No need to write about Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau. Enlightenment was a movement. Okay, so you started with definition. Fine. In definition, few keywords are missing. Okay, reason, logic, all those things. Okay. So in definition also, you need to ensure that you're writing main keywords. Okay. Contribution made by enlightenment. Religion-based laws to reason-based. Okay. Secularism, democracy, scientific approach, feminism, rule of law. Okay. ठीक है. You. Fine. Avoid writing long paragraphs. Okay. A paragraph should not be consisting of more than 3 sentences. Just make it a rule in your life as long as you are preparing for UPSC. A paragraph should not consist of more than 3 lines. Otherwise, your paragraph would not be, your content would not be visible. Okay. No need to explain earlier kings used to rule the society, all those. Simply start with definition. Okay. Contribution of enlightenment is missing. Disorder thing is missing. Okay. No need to write Morris Ginsburg ये सब. कुछ नहीं होता इन सब से. Because it is not adding anything to our answer. Questions demand. Okay. Start with directly with enlightenment, nothing else. Humanism, second democracy, front market economy, bureaucracy. Too many shortcuts and flowcharts and arrows. So answer is not looking very, smooth. It looks like note, not answers. Note making is different thing. Okay. Finally, sociology was both subjected by Kant, father of philosophy of history. Just follow this wala rule. Okay. Make subheadings disorder and then sociology evolved to explain the disorder in a scientific fashion. Okay. Sociology, study of individual. No need to write about sociology. Okay. Directly start with enlightenment. Movement questioning. Age of. Sentence is not complete. Middle age, intellectual force, modernity, counter-enlightenment, fine. Contribution and bus, political, economic. No need to write about each scholar. Just simply write the main contribution. Okay, like this. Okay, no need to write their names. You can skip it. You did not write issues with modernity. Contribute Enlightenment was a movement which tried to solve the problems society faced through use of logic, reasoning. Okay. No need to explain sociology. Definition. Okay. Emergence of sociology. Renaissance, scientific, enlightenment, modernity. Very nice flowchart. No need to explain Renaissance. Renaissance happened before enlightenment, so why going into Renaissance after describing enlightenment? Okay, no need to explain scientific revolution. Enlightenment you have already explained, so no need to explain it again. Okay, no need to write thinkers. ठीक है.
Do we need to write the content?
See, when you make a flowchart, na, or when you have a flowchart in your head, even if you do not have it on paper, the flowchart in your head or in your paper will bind you, will restrict you to write your answer in specific manner. Otherwise, it will be like a story, a narration. Okay, just think like this. When a movie is made, that movie is of 3 hours. Okay, so a time is given to directors. We won't publish it for more than 3 hours. It should be limited to 3 hours. So he writes a script initially. He shows it to the producer or whosoever. So that script has to be in a logical fashion. Although that script may be more than 10-hour long, something like this. But eventually he will cut it short and show you the main themes. Okay, what we call as cinematography. Okay. So this is how your answer should be like. We might have read many things, but when we are writing answer, our target should be to grab the attention of examiner. And we can grab his attention when we write with subheadings and in a neat and clean manner. And when we write a flowchart, we are already giving an impression to him that this is how I'll explain. So you can completely notice that also in my answer. Okay, and that you are making his job very easy basically. Okay. How enlightenment contribute? Enlightenment definition you have explained. Very nice. Intellectual movement resulted in change in the idea of human. Idea of human is vague, which help human to think big and think beyond missing religion and shifted toward individual reason and logic. Okay. Middle age. So no need to explain everything, only enlightenment. Even in intellectual current, only focus on enlightenment. Okay. These things are missing. Issues you have not written in the flowchart. Too soon to reach conclusion, body is still missing. Okay. Enlightenment is the intellectual movement. Started with definition, very nice. Enlightenment, political, economic, okay. Middle age, enlightenment, modernity, issues, modernity. Acha, you had made this flowchart already. So that is nice. Enlightenment, modernity. Nice. No need to explain it again. We have already explained enlightenment. No need to define it again. Contribution, okay. Fine. Led to humanity, political, social throughout the world because of those contributions only. So, and the issues were like reign of terror, church, state discord issue, all those against which. So, answer is incomplete.
With modernity, so confused with modernity or
Yes. So you wrote the birth of conservatism, radicalism coincide with birth of modernity, right? And where is sociology? The question was
end, like with that.
हाँ. So I mean,
How to conclude? Like, you write this now.
conclusion comes later on. Yes. Okay. So you would say sociology came to study all these issues associated with modernity in a scientific fashion. Okay. That's it. So basically you have put it all up together and finally attached the word sociology to the last part of the machine. The machine was all about your enlightenment, issue with enlightenment, then finally sociology is going to fix those issues. Okay. So that thing was only missing. Otherwise, flow is nice. The way you write is also nice. Handwriting is also good. Okay. But avoid too many flowchart in your answer, na? So in the first page, only one, this much is enough. Okay. You should not cover one full page with flowcharts. Otherwise, it would give an impression that you are running out of content. Okay. So now we will keep doing this exercise once we are done with every subpart. So unit 1 part A is over. Monday we are going to meet. We are going to finish unit 1 full. 1B and C is very small unit. It's very small parts. Okay. Monday we will finish unit 1BC. Monday itself, although I know I am sounding very ambitious, ठीक है, मुझे पता है कैसे रहता है लाइफ में मेरे साथ कि जोश जोश में बहुत कुछ बोल देता हूँ मैं, बट ठीक है, चलो कोशिश तो करने में क्या हर्ज है कि 1B और C के बाद PYQ भी कर लेंगे उसी दिन. If not, then Tuesday we will do PYQ of 1BC and proceed with unit 2. Okay, so this exercise we'll keep doing, and Monday you will get PYQ booklet. Okay, previous year question booklet, which you can keep with yourself, and whenever you read anything, keep it before you. Whenever you read anything in GS also, na, keep previous year question wala book before you, before buying any random book. UPSC questions will automatically limit you and will make you aware of the things that you require for selection and the things that you do not require for selection. Okay, so do not go for fat books. You do not have time, and that is not even required. You just have to answer the question, and you can answer in a most concrete fashion only if you have crystal clear clarity, which is equally important. Okay, so with this I'll end up the session, today's session. I'll see you directly on Monday. ठीक है, आज जल्दी छोड़ेंगे. 2 दिन का ऑफ है ना, फिर अब इसलिए जल्दी छोड़ हैं. मॉडल आंसर कुछ का दे दूंगा यार, कुछ का दूंगा मैं मॉडल आंसर. हाँ, पेन ले लो. हाँ, एक सेकंड मैम, पहले मैं देख लेता हूँ ये इनमें कोई डाउट तो ना हो बस. सो क्या कहते हैं, इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट, ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स, if you have any sort of doubt from today's class, you can ask me. And you can download this flowchart also, I guess, which I have given for unit 1 part A. I don't know if it's visible to you or not here. You can download the same. Okay. From your portal. आपके पोर्टल पे होगा ये. No rising star. I will not complete whole syllabus of sociology on YouTube. वो पूछ रहे हैं. On YouTube तो नहीं. On YouTube, so many people have done so much of hard work. Okay, you can watch those people. No, it's fact now. I mean, why to flood YouTube with so many videos? I mean, I was wondering how would YouTube store so much of data. I mean, I was thinking of what would happen 10 years down the line. How is YouTube storing everything? I mean, one day cloud will burst. Yeah, but still, I mean, I'm amazed. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल वो बात भी सही है. I'm amazed with this cloud thing, but really nice. हाँ हाँ, right right right. Yes. Okay, I'll see you guys on Monday now. Okay. Just go through this note today, which I